Hi friends, welcome to our channel Easy Mathematics. Today we are going to discuss about an integration method that is called integration by parts. It is also known as product rule in the case of integration. So we have product rule in the case of differentiation as well as integration. So product rule in the case of differentiation we are all familiar with, and it is a very simple method, that is d by dx of f of x into g of x. So when derivative of product of two function comes, we apply product rule in the case of differentiation. So how we apply product rule in the case of differentiation? Here we have a freedom to select any function f of x or g of x as first and second function. Suppose if we are selecting f of x as first function, how we can apply product rule here in the case of differentiation? Derivative of first, so d by dx of f of x into second function. So second function g of x, I am keeping it as g of x itself, plus next d by dx of second function into first. So we are differentiating one function at a time, keeping the next function as same. So derivative of f of x into g of x is equal to derivative of f of x into g of x plus derivative of g of x into f of x. So this is the product rule in the case of differentiation. Same manner, but a slight difference is there. Here we have a freedom to select any function as first function and second function, but in the case of integration we don't have such a freedom. Let's get into our topic, integration by parts or product rule in the case of integration. So when we apply product rule to evaluate integral of product of two function comes, so we can denote it as integral f of x into g of x dx. So to evaluate integral of this form, f of x into g of x, so here integrand is product of two function. But here we cannot select f of x as first function, g of x as first function like that. Here we have a definite rule to follow. That rule is known as ILATE. So this method, integration by parts or product rule, is also known as ILATE method, because we want to select a first function and a second function according to this rule, ILATE. So here I stands for inverse trigonometric functions, L stands for logarithmic functions, A stands for arithmetic function, T stands for trigonometric function, E stands for exponential functions. So ILATE, expansion of ILATE. So I stands for inverse trigonometric functions, L stands for logarithmic functions, A stands for arithmetic functions. Arithmetic functions means any constant, any polynomial functions comes under arithmetic functions. Trigonometric functions, sine, cos, tan, etc. Then their combinations. Exponential function, a raised to x, e raised to x. Likewise functions we can include in exponential function. So when integrand is of product of two function comes, we use ILATE method or integration by parts. we want to select first function and second function, we can select first function and second function according to this order. If inverse trigonometric function and logarithmic function comes, we want to select first function as inverse trigonometric functions. So first function we want to select it in this order. So inverse trigonometry will come first, or logarithmic next, arithmetic, trigonometry, exponential. For example, to evaluate integral e raised to x into x dx, suppose a question of this form, integral e raised to x into x dx. So here integrand is product of two functions, that is exponential and x arithmetic function, polynomial function. So which function, so here we want to apply integration by parts or ILATE method. So which function we want to select it as first? Then according to this order, which function comes first? No inverse trigonometry, no logarithmic function, arithmetic function comes first. Then here x, that is our first function. Then what is next then? Exponential function comes in last, so we can select exponential function as our second function. So likewise we want to select first function and second function. Another example, sin x into x square dx. So product of two function comes. Here also integrand we have product of two functions, sin x into x square. So which function we can select it as first function here? So arithmetic function is there, trigonometric function is there. So in this order, arithmetic function comes first. So here x square is our first function and sin x is our second function. Another example, integral of log x into sin x dx. Suppose a question comes like this, integral log x into sin x dx. So here integrand is product of two functions, that is logarithmic function and trigonometric function. According to ILATE, which function comes first? Logarithmic function comes first. No inverse trigonometry here. So logarithmic function comes first. So log x is our first function, then trigonometric function. Second function is our trigonometric functions, that is sin x. So this is the method, this is the procedure that we want to select first function and second function.